So in this, we're going to talk about absolute values and how to work with them and just kind of slowly introduce them as piecewise functions that we will be working with. Now, an absolute value is kind of a way of just saying the magnitude of something. We kind of will have, the absolute value of 5 is just 5. It's how big is this number? So what if we have the absolute value of negative 5? And that also equals 5. It's what we're talking about here is just how big the magnitude. So now, what if we had something a little bit different? We had the absolute value of x. Well, I'd write this as a set of two different equations. So in this case, I'd have an x or I'd have a negative x. And I'll say that this, I choose the positive if x is greater than or equal to 0, which is to say that I choose the positive x if x is positive, and if x is less than 0, then I choose a negative. So this is to say if x equaled 3, then it's this case. So x is bigger than 0, so I just put x is 3. So then the absolute value is just 3. That's kind of funny. But now if x equaled negative 3, in this case, I have to choose the negative of that. So that's kind of like now I have x is equal to negative of negative 3, which is the positive. So I want this to always output a positive, and that's why I pick up this negative. So when x is negative, you multiply it by a negative. Now, what if we had something like the addition or subtraction of absolute values? They have the absolute value of 5 minus the absolute value of 6. Well, the absolute value of 5 is just 5 minus the absolute value of 6, which is 6. So that's just negative 1. Now let's try something else. Let's do this. We have the absolute value of x minus 5. And I can write that as a piecewise function again. So I have x minus 5 if, and now in this case, I want x minus 5 to be greater than 0. So this would be if x is greater than or equal to 5. Now I would have a negative version of this, which is x, or the negative of x minus 5 if x was less than 5. So let's just do a practice. Let's say if x equaled 3 again. Now, which one would I use? I would use this one because it's less than 5. So what we'd do here is I'd put that, then that's negative, bracket 3 minus 5, which equals negative 2, which equals 2. So that's where that double negative came in, where we used the negative version, this, to get that positive out. Now we could also try that a little bit different. What if we just put it right into the function? We had x equal 3, so x minus 5 is just 3 minus 5, and that's just the absolute value of negative 2, and we know that's equal to 2. So this is how we kind of work with these.